You keep saying you want success, yet the very way you speak about it proves you do not expect it. You talk as if success is a far country you might reach one day. Instead of a state of mind you must enter now. And until you enter it, every step you take will be taken as a beggar, not as an owner. Listen to your own language. I hope. I'm working on it. I'm almost there. I'm just trying to get stable. Those words feel harmless, but they are confessions. They announce to life that you still belong to the class of men who ask permission. And life treats a man exactly as he describes himself. Look at the goals you set. Maybe this year, by the end of the decade, when the time is right, if I can just catch a break. That is not a plan. It is a delay dressed in fancy clothing. And delay is the favorite habit of the drifter. The drifter does not fail loudly. He fails politely. You rise in the morning and perform little rituals of poverty without noticing them. You check the world before you check your purpose. You negotiate with your bed. You bargain with discomfort. You let your mind wander before you command it. Then you wonder why you cannot command results. You say you desire wealth, yet you move as though you are waiting to be chosen. You want influence, yet you shrink your voice. You want freedom, yet you treat your time like it belongs to anyone who interrupts you. These are not small matters. These are daily votes for the identity you keep living. Now hear this. Success is not attracted by effort alone. It is attracted by agreement. Life does not respond to what you want once in a while. It responds to what you are, consistently, when no one is watching. Most men are busy building a future, while their present habits shout, "I am not that man." They dress like they are uncertain. They speak like they are requesting approval. They plan like they are preparing to lose. They work hard, but they work from the posture of shortage. And shortage is a magnet for more shortage. There is a law at work here, and it is merciless. Your outer world is a mirror of your dominant inner world. If your thoughts, words, and habits declare, "I am becoming," you will remain forever in the state of becoming. You will circle the mountain of desire and never claim its summit. But the moment you begin to live as success, not in arrogance, not in foolish display, but in disciplined certainty, everything changes. Your mind begins to select different ideas. Your eyes notice different openings. Your voice carries a different weight. The world senses it before you speak a word. You have seen it in other men. Two men with the same talent, the same education, the same hours in a day, yet one is always about to, and the other simply does. One keeps explaining his potential, and the other walks as if the matter is settled. That difference is not luck. It is identity. You cannot draw into your life that which you repeatedly declare is outside of you. You cannot command riches while you keep rehearsing the story of limitation. You cannot become powerful while you keep describing yourself as still figuring it out. So I am going to do something in this speech that may disturb you at first. I am going to expose the small behaviors, quiet, ordinary, daily, through which you keep proving to your own subconscious mind that you are not yet the person you claim you wish to be. Not to shame you, never, but to free you. Because once you see them, you can replace them. And when you replace them, you do not merely change your habits, you change your signal. You change the command you are issuing to life. You step out of the posture of pursuit and you enter the posture of possession. And do not misunderstand me. Living as success does not mean spending money you do not have or pretending you are something you are not. It means you think with definiteness. You decide without apology. You speak with accuracy. You carry yourself with self-respect. You keep your appointments with your own purpose. You stop negotiating with fear. A successful man does not wait for confidence. He manufactures it through action. A successful man does not ask, "Will it work?" He asks, "What is the next move?" A successful man does not announce his plans to feel important. He executes them to become inevitable. And here is the promise I make to you. If you listen with the intent to obey, if you take what you hear and apply it in your words, your schedule, your posture, and your decisions, then you will feel a shift within days. Not a mystical feeling, a practical transformation. You will begin to move differently. You will stop arranging your life around excuses. You will stop speaking in a way that invites doubt. You will stop setting goals that secretly allow you to fail without guilt. You will start acting from the identity you want, not the identity you inherited. You will become a man who expects results, and because you expect them, you prepare for them, you act for them, you persist for them. The world cannot long deny a man whose inner order is fixed. So let this be the line you cross today. Not into wishful thinking, but into disciplined assumption. Not into noisy boasting, but into quiet authority. For the next few minutes, listen as if your future is taking notes, because it is. And by the time you rise from this message, you will know exactly what to stop doing, what to start doing, and how to live in such a way that success is no longer a destination. It is your present identity. Every great change in a man's life begins not with movement, but with recognition. Until he sees himself as more than his current condition, he cannot rise beyond it. Success is not a prize to be earned in the future. It is a pattern of thought to be accepted in the present. To assume success before proof appears is the highest act of faith, and faith is the beginning of every form of power. A man who spends his life trying will spend his life becoming, but never being. Trying is the language of uncertainty. It is a confession that one still doubts the law that governs life. A man either acts as though he is success, or he declares by hesitation that he is failure. There is no middle ground in the realm of belief. The outer world always takes its cue from the inner world. Every event, every opportunity, every limitation follows the pattern of your own assumption. Life is a perfect mirror. It reflects not your effort, not your prayers, but your expectation. A man can toil endlessly under wrong assumption and still remain poor, while another who moves with calm certainty finds doors swinging open before him. You have seen it yourself. Two men begin with equal skill, equal time, equal desire, yet one moves with quiet assurance while the other tries. One acts as though he cannot fail, the other begs for permission to succeed. The difference is invisible to the eye, but unmistakable to infinite intelligence. Life favors decisiveness because decisiveness imitates creation itself. To keep saying, "I am working toward success," is to push it forever beyond reach. The law of assumption demands you live as though the goal were already secured. The farmer does not question whether the seed will sprout. He prepares the ground, plants in faith, and acts as if harvest were certain. That is how all creation unfolds. The habit of becoming must give way to the state of being. As long as you speak of someday, you are chained to it. Someday is the calendar of the uncertain. Replace it with now. The man who thinks, speaks, and acts as success in the present moment sets in motion unseen forces that rearrange circumstance to match his belief. Thought repetition forms identity. Whatever you impress upon your mind consistently becomes your nature. If you constantly remind yourself of lack, you assume the posture of lack. If you constantly affirm power, you assume the posture of command. The subconscious knows no difference between truth and rehearsal. It accepts as real whatever is repeated with emotion. A beggar's posture repels opportunity. When a man acts as though he must prove his worth before receiving, he communicates weakness to every mind he meets. Life deals with him as he deals with himself. Opportunity cannot enter where doubt is worshipped. A beggar's tone in conversation, in movement, even in prayer, tells the universe, I do not yet deserve. The law is simple. Wealth recognizes self-recognition. Fortune, opportunity, influence all respond to the vibration of readiness. If you speak as one uncertain, wealth passes you by in search of a master. But when you stand firm in decision, life bows. Men who have studied this law understand that the world belongs not to the clever, but to the certain. Every great achievement began in silent conviction, not proof. Edison did not wait for acceptance before assuming mastery over electricity. Carnegie did not wait for riches before thinking like a man of wealth. Their actions were the outward ceremony of an inward decision. They carried themselves as owners long before they possessed anything tangible. Indecision is the public announcement of self-doubt. Each time you delay a choice, you instruct your mind to question your own power. Infinite intelligence does not cooperate with the uncertain. The moment you decide firmly, unseen helpers begin to move. The universe aligns around definiteness, for definiteness is its native language. A definite purpose, assumed with unwavering belief, builds an identity impossible to ignore. It sharpens your perception. It draws ideas suited to its fulfillment. A man without a definite identity is like a ship without a rudder, moved by the wind of circumstance. But the man who assumes success before proof possesses the invisible compass of faith. The subconscious accepts repetition, not reasoning. You cannot talk yourself into belief with arguments. You must train it through repetition of new truth. If you tell it daily, I am capable, I am prosperous, I am decisive, and then act as though this were so, the mind begins to obey. It takes command from habit, not logic. Conditioning belief through daily assumption requires ritual. Each morning before the world touches you, affirm aloud your definite chief aim as already realized. Say it with emotion, not politeness. Picture its fulfillment until you feel gratitude in advance. At night, review the day as though it had unfolded under your control. This practice engraves identity upon the subconscious, like carving upon stone. Every day, Through thought, word, and behavior, you are declaring to infinite intelligence who you believe yourself to be. The question is whether those declarations align with the success you desire. When your rituals contradict your aim, you cancel your command. When they match it, you compel obedience from life itself. Hope thinking must die before faith can live. Hope says, maybe someday. Faith says, it is mine in principle. Hope waits for evidence. Faith acts as evidence. The man who lives in faith no longer strains for results. He expects them. An expectation magnetizes events to confirm itself. There is power in the affirmation, I do not try, I become, I do not chase, I attract by readiness. Repeat it until the tone of your voice changes. It will cleanse your language of self-doubt, purify your posture, and make every action decisive. You will notice people begin to treat you differently, not because you asked them to, but because assumption has altered your atmosphere. Consider Henry Ford. When his engineers told him a single-piece V8 engine was impossible, he replied, "Produce it anyway." He acted not as a dreamer, but as one already in possession of the result. His assumption overruled their reasoning. Years later, when they succeeded, they did not realize they had merely caught up with the certainty he had lived with all along. John D. Rockefeller walked through the early chaos of business with the composure of one entrusted with divine stewardship. Even in youth, before his wealth existed, he behaved as though managing vast fortunes was natural to him. He tithed when poor, planned as a governor of riches. In time, his reality mirrored the state he had assumed from the beginning. The ordinary man, by contrast, spends his life testing waters instead of commanding tides. He works diligently, but his mind whispers, I hope this works. He seeks permission from circumstances to believe in himself. His movements lack weight, his words lack finality, and thus life hesitates to reward him. Now imagine another man. He holds no more talent, no better education, but he walks with quiet firmness. He speaks little of his plans, yet every action suggests inevitability. When he meets rejection, he smiles as though delay is part of design. People sense in him something settled. They assist him without knowing why. Within months, his life shifts. What changed? Not his environment, not his resources, but his assumption. He began to act from completion, not toward it. His tone, once uncertain, now carried conviction. The world merely mirrored his new identity. Once you grasp this law, you save 10 years of wandering through uncertainty. You no longer wait for external approval to validate your potential. You begin where others end, with belief. That alone eliminates half of life's detours. Identity always precedes results. To say, I will be successful, is to remain forever incomplete. To say, I am success in progress, begins the magnetic pull of fulfillment. The seed does not beg to become a tree, it simply unfolds according to its nature. Likewise, assume the state of success and life will unfold to match it. To replace striving with assumption is not laziness, it is efficiency. Effort remains necessary, but effort under assumption becomes expression, not struggle. Work becomes joyous because it aligns with faith, not fear. You act because it is natural to your identity, not because you must prove your worth. Imagine how many years are lost to mental contradiction, to men working hard while secretly expecting failure. They push with one hand and pull back with the other. They live divided, and a divided mind builds nothing permanent. The whole secret is unity. When thought, word, and deed agree in the assumption of success, time shortens, obstacles bend, and what seemed impossible becomes routine. Unity within calls forth harmony without. Therefore, let this become your daily command. I no longer chase success, I live as its evidence. Stand upon that conviction until it hardens into character. The world does not need to be convinced. It only needs to recognize the vibration of certainty. The law of assumption will not fail you, for it is the same law that moves the stars. Believe you are, and you become. Deny your own power, and you remain a drifter among those who hope. Act as success now, and success must appear, for life cannot contradict faith expressed in motion. The road to greatness is littered not with failures of effort, but with failures of faith. Most men are not defeated by laziness. They are defeated by trying. They confuse movement with power. Their labor becomes a disguise for disbelief. The man who tries confesses in advance that he does not yet believe. Effort without inner certainty is the signature of spiritual poverty. You may know such men. They wake early, work hard, speak constantly of someday. They fill journals with plans, attend every lecture, memorize principles, yet their results remain small. Their eyes hold fatigue instead of fire. They have learned the mechanics of ambition, but never the spirit of conviction. Their energy, though abundant, is scattered by doubt. Trying is a posture of request. It signals to the world, I am not yet that which I seek. Life, obedient to law, mirrors this hesitation. The man who tries to be confident will always appear nervous. The one who tries to sell never convinces. The one who tries to lead is never followed. Power cannot flow through one who doubts his right to possess it. The danger of working without belief is invisible but deadly. Every action performed in uncertainty instructs the subconscious to expect disappointment. The result then proves the expectation, and the circle tightens. Each failed attempt weakens courage until striving becomes habit and accomplishment becomes myth. Effort without expectation creates exhaustion. You can see it in the man who labors endlessly yet never seems satisfied. His eyes search for approval in every direction. He is like a runner on a treadmill, breathing hard, sweating constantly, yet moving nowhere. The harder he works, the further fulfillment recedes. Desire alone does not move mountains, belief does. Desire without belief is torment. It magnifies what is absent. But belief, even in small measure, transforms effort into certainty. The difference between torment and triumph lies entirely in assumption. Words are the windows of belief. Listen carefully to a man's conversation, and you will know his faith. Those who begin every sentence with, I hope, I'll try, if it works, are revealing their allegiance to failure. They are conditioning the mind to accept disappointment as natural. Language trains destiny. The subconscious obeys tone, not pretense. When your words lack command, your world lacks order. A mind that speaks timidly will attract timidity from all quarters. Life bends only to conviction, never to complaint. A beggar once said, "I will try to find bread," and remained hungry. Another said, "I will have bread before the sun sets." And his determination stirred both mind and muscle to secure it. The difference was not effort, but declaration. The world treats you exactly as you describe yourself. Apologetic language is the chain that binds the majority. They end every sentence with hesitation. Maybe, I guess, we'll see. Such words sound harmless, but they poison the subconscious. They signal lack of authority. No builder can construct greatness with a tongue that constantly dismantles faith. The man who says, "I'll try my best," has already surrendered. His best is undefined. His aim is fog. The definite man says, "It will be done," and the universe begins arranging itself to fulfill his order. Decision is command, uncertainty is chaos. F.W. Woolworth, before he owned a single store, carried himself as a merchant of destiny. Others ridiculed his dream of selling 5 and 10-cent goods. He ignored them. He walked through the aisles of his imagination as if they already existed. He was not trying to succeed, he was living as success. The world simply caught up with his conviction. Politeness to fear often disguises as humility. The timid man calls it modesty when he refuses to speak his worth. He calls it caution when he delays his decision. He calls it patience when he avoids risk. But these are not virtues. They are chains. Life rewards courage dressed as certainty, not fear dressed as humility. Life never rewards timid requests. The man who half asks receives half results. The world senses weakness as a wolf senses blood. If you wish for greatness, demand it through action, not pleading. A man's reward matches the size of his claim upon life. Self-doubt creates invisible resistance. It turns opportunities away before they arrive. It makes men misread signals, ignore allies, sabotage plans. It whispers that they are not ready, that another year of preparation is needed. That voice has buried more dreams than failure ever did. True readiness is born in decision, not delay. Preparation without commitment is cowardice in disguise. The illusion of preparation keeps men busy but safe. They spend years getting ready, refusing to act until every fear is silenced. But fear never leaves voluntarily. It must be overruled by faith. Opportunity does not visit the cautious. It stalks the decisive. The world belongs to those who step forward while others hesitate. The timid lose decades negotiating with comfort, polishing plans that were meant to be lived. The relationship between self-respect and opportunity is absolute. The world reflects your own estimation of worth. If you undervalue your time, others will spend it freely. If you underprice your service, others will bargain you down. Confidence is not arrogance, it is accurate self-measurement. The illusion of endless preparation steals life itself. Men spend years reading about courage instead of practicing it, studying wealth instead of producing it, talking about discipline instead of living it. They mistake knowledge for growth. But knowledge unused decays into self-doubt. There is a difference between refinement and procrastination. Refinement sharpens. Procrastination dulls. The man forever revising his plan is worshiping safety, not excellence. While he waits for the perfect moment, another, less gifted, acts and wins. The world honors conviction, not caution. Fortune does not ask if you are ready. It appears to those who assume they are. Timid men lose decades because they wait for confidence. But confidence is not discovered. It is manufactured by action. The discipline of speaking from completion rather than hope is simple yet transformative. Speak of your aim as though it were already inevitable. Say when, not if. Say I am, not I will be. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. Infinite intelligence responds to decisiveness like a soldier to command. A man once spent years refining his business plan. He consulted experts, redrafted proposals, and adjusted numbers until perfection seemed near. Yet fear ruled him. He was waiting for reassurance that risk would vanish. It never did. In the end, another man with less knowledge but more conviction launched the same idea and prospered. The difference between them was identity. The first was a student of success. The second was success in action. The first sought permission. The second assumed authority. Life sided with the latter because decisiveness is life's language. Remove trying from your vocabulary, and you will feel the weight of 10 wasted years lift from your shoulders. Replace it with doing, with deciding, with being. Say, I am building this enterprise, not I'm trying to start. Say, I am improving, not I'm working on it. Your words must declare certainty long before your results can echo it. Mastery demands conviction, not caution. Caution collects data. Conviction creates momentum. The man who moves with belief covers ground faster in a week than the fearful cover in years. The bold are not reckless. They are obedient to their vision. Do not mistake this teaching for foolish pride. Real faith is silent, not boastful. The man who truly believes has no need to prove. His actions speak with precision. He neither argues nor apologizes. His tone declares, "It is settled." Timid men waste decades avoiding embarrassment. They decline opportunities because they fear exposure of inexperience. Yet only experience cures inexperience. The quicker a man acts, the quicker he learns. The longer he hesitates, the longer he stays small. Every day spent trying is a day stolen from becoming. Each act of hesitation compounds like interest. The man who decides today begins earning from the law of momentum. The man who delays begins paying interest on regret. If you wish to rise swiftly, act decisively upon incomplete knowledge. You will learn through movement what the doubter never learns through study. Life rewards participation, not observation. Fear disguises itself in endless planning. Men polish tools while others build monuments. They gather opinions to avoid accountability. They call it prudence, but it is paralysis. The moment you act from certainty, life supplies reinforcement. Events, people, and ideas appear in sequence. Doors open because you knock with authority. Faith creates evidence. Therefore, affirm daily, I move as the man who has already arrived. Say it until hesitation leaves your tone. Carry yourself as one fulfilling destiny, not seeking it. Decision alters vibration. Vibration alters circumstance. The secret is to move as though success were inevitable. Each step taken with faith eliminates the possibility of failure. The mind becomes an engine of precision, directing every power toward completion. Remember this: the timid live long enough to watch the bold succeed. Their punishment is not failure, it is witnessing what could have been theirs. The cost of trying is not comfort, it is wasted time. Courage is simply decision before evidence. Make it, and the evidence will appear. The act of assumption shortens the journey more than talent, luck, or circumstance. A man of faith acts from certainty, not for it. He begins where others wait to begin. He demands nothing from the world but obedience to his conviction. And because he believes, the world yields. Repeat until it becomes identity. I act from certainty, not for it. This statement contains all the power of transformation. It dissolves hesitation, annihilates self-doubt, and invites infinite intelligence to assist. Stop trying, begin being. The universe has been waiting for your tone to change. Every man must one day discover that success is not seized by chance, but constructed by order. It is not a single act of genius that crowns him, but the steady rhythm of disciplined living. Power belongs to him who lives deliberately, who turns every small act into a declaration of purpose. The undisciplined wait for inspiration, the disciplined become it. The difference between performance and authenticity is vast. Many pretend to confidence before others while trembling within. They imitate success instead of inhabiting it. But true mastery is never a show. It is quiet precision. Discipline is the invisible architecture that supports all achievement. The man who is steady in the unseen cannot fail in the visible. The first act of discipline is decision. Without decision, effort wanders. Each morning, a man must reassert who he is and what he stands for. The lazy man wakes to circumstance. The disciplined wakes to command. His first thought is purpose. His second thought is gratitude. His third is action. He begins the day as a builder begins his work, with a clear blueprint. Habit is the scaffolding of identity. Every repetition carves the mind, strengthening or weakening it. The man who speaks with certainty each day builds belief. The one who complains builds helplessness. The law of habit force ensures that what is repeated becomes permanent. Therefore, practice faith even before you feel it. Action is the soil in which conviction grows. To think, speak, and act like the man you aim to become is not pretense. It is obedience to law. Infinite intelligence responds not to effort, but to assumption. If you walk, dress, and decide as one who commands his world, the world will mirror that image. The beggar posture says, I lack. The kingly bearing says, I govern. The difference is invisible yet irresistible. Controlled attention is the key to mastery. The mind, undirected, scatters power as a river floods when its banks are broken. The disciplined man holds attention upon one purpose until thought becomes magnet. Distraction is a confession of weakness. Concentration is the declaration of control. 1 hour of focused thinking outweighs a month of restless labor. Each morning is a renewal of faith. Rise early before noise steals command. Speak aloud your definite chief aim as though it were already a living fact. Let your tone carry gratitude, not request. The subconscious takes order from emotion. It will obey the voice of certainty more swiftly than the whisper of fear. At night, perform the same ceremony in reflection. Review the day as though infinite intelligence were your silent partner. Ask not what went wrong, but what law did I ignore? This dialogue with self refines character and invites guidance. The man who consults his own conscience grows faster than the one who consults public opinion. Speech carries creative force. The spoken word is thought set in motion. When spoken with belief, it shapes reality as surely as seed produces harvest. Guard your tongue with vigilance. Never declare failure, even in jest. Each word plants a seed within your own mind and within the minds of others. Speak only that which you intend to make true. Success thinking alters the body itself. The man who assumes victory stands taller, breathes deeper, and looks directly at life. His pace steadies, his tone calms, his face relaxes. These signals, unnoticed by him, command respect in others. The body becomes a faithful instrument of faith. Faith must be acted upon, or it decays. Belief without movement rots into superstition. The disciplined man translates conviction into organized plan, then into persistent execution. He knows that even small progress repeated daily becomes unstoppable. The dreamer waits for mood. The builder moves through mood. Consider Dr. Frank Gonzalez, a young preacher with no money, yet a burning desire to found a college. He did not beg for donors. He declared before his congregation that within days he would secure $1 million for education. That certainty startled the world, but it awakened opportunity. Within a week, the funds appeared. His faith had commanded the law of supply. The world remembers only the result, but its secret was inner discipline. Gonzalez spoke as though infinite intelligence had already agreed, and so it did. That is the discipline of being, assuming completion and acting accordingly. Habit force ensures permanence. Whatever you do repeatedly becomes easier, whether noble or weak. If you practice punctuality, the body begins to anticipate duty. If you practice delay, hesitation becomes reflex. The wise man trains himself deliberately as a sculptor shapes stone. Each repetition carves destiny. Surroundings obey self-respect. Keep your environment orderly, and it will echo your inner command. The cluttered desk, the unmade bed, the careless dress, these are not small errors. They are confessions of inward confusion. When you raise your standard, the world adjusts itself to match. Order is a spiritual principle. Every atom in the universe moves according to design. Chaos is the mark of drifting thought. To live as success is to align oneself with universal precision. Punctuality, cleanliness, preparation, these are not chores but rituals of faith. They announce to life that you are ready for greater stewardship. Vague men never inspire confidence. Their words wobble, their plans blur, their actions scatter. The disciplined man speaks with economy. He says what he means and means what he says. His clarity saves him decades of correction. For every indecision delayed today becomes a crisis tomorrow. Each evening, renew the self-confidence formula. I know that I have the ability to achieve my definite purpose. I demand of myself persistent action toward its attainment. I promise to render more service than paid for. I believe I will develop the habit of faith. Speak it until belief vibrates through the voice. This is not recitation. It is construction of identity. You will find that as days accumulate under this discipline, others begin to treat you differently. They sense steadiness. They test you with responsibility. They confide in you without knowing why. The invisible law of respect begins its work. Life always crowns the man who can be counted upon. Imagine a worker once overlooked. He drifted through his duties, always late, careless in detail, vague in speech. Promotion passed him by for years. Then one day he resolved to live as success. He arrived early, dressed neatly, recorded each task precisely, spoke calmly, and carried himself as one who leads. Within a year, he was promoted beyond those who once mocked him. The difference was not luck, but identity. His new conduct became silent instruction to all around him. Here is reliability. Management responded not to his request, but to his transformation. The world cannot resist a man who respects himself. Discipline transforms every environment. It teaches others how to behave around you. When you honor your word, others begin to honor it too. When you keep appointments with yourself, you train the universe to keep appointments with your destiny. Each fulfilled promise deepens the groove of belief until confidence becomes automatic. The disciplined man is not ruled by emotion. He feels discouragement but does not obey it. He experiences fatigue but continues calmly. Emotion follows attention, not the other way around. By holding thought on purpose, he lifts mood through mastery. Internal silence is his secret weapon. He withdraws daily for reflection, allowing mind and conscience to commune. In stillness, ideas appear. Infinite intelligence whispers through calmness, never through chaos. The undisciplined drown in noise. The disciplined hear guidance. Definite purpose magnetizes cooperation. When a man's aim is clear, others feel safer aligning with him. People instinctively follow stability. They lend support where they perceive certainty. The wavering man finds no allies. The decisive man builds armies without request. Consistency rewires identity until success becomes inevitable. Each day lived in alignment erases the memory of weakness. Soon you no longer perform discipline. It performs you. Action flows naturally, like breathing. At that stage, success is not an event, it is a condition. The disciplined man no longer wonders when results will appear. He knows they are already in motion. His duty is faithfulness, not haste. The same law that ripens fruit in its season will ripen his rewards at the appointed hour. Patience becomes serenity. Serenity becomes magnetism. Let your affirmation be this: I am the kind of man who completes what he begins. Write it, speak it, live it. Each fulfilled act of discipline engraves this truth upon your nature. The world bends toward those who finish, for completion is the signature of mastery. When you master the discipline of being, you cease to beg life for improvement. You command it. You no longer perform success, you embody it. Every thought, every gesture, every word becomes a decree. That is the power that ends struggle and begins sovereignty. Every act of creation begins in belief. Before a bridge stands, it exists as conviction in the engineer's mind. Before wealth accumulates, it exists as faith in the dreamer's heart. The unseen governs the seen, and the subconscious mind is the bridge between them. This is the workshop where invisible thought takes form, and the only tools permitted inside are faith and repetition. The mind below reason never argues, it obeys. It is literal, loyal, and tireless. Whatever picture you impress upon it with emotion, it builds. If that picture is fear, it constructs limitation. If that picture is faith, it assembles prosperity. You cannot deceive it with words alone. It responds only to belief felt deeply. Faith is not a gift, it is a construction. It is built brick by brick through repetition, imagination, and action. A man does not wait for faith. He manufactures it as the blacksmith forges iron, by striking again and again until shape appears. Each repetition strengthens the nerve of conviction until doubt breaks and obedience begins. Intelligence alone will not plant faith. The most educated men often possess the weakest belief because they depend upon reasoning to do the work of repetition. The subconscious understands no logic. It understands rhythm. It is persuaded by tone, not argument, by emotion, not intellect. Every man is the architect of his own faith. He may build it strong through deliberate affirmation, or weak through careless speech. When you say daily, I cannot afford, I never have luck, things never work for me, you engrave these commands upon the inner self. The subconscious does not debate, it simply executes. Repetition outweighs reasoning. A single doubt spoken with conviction can undo 100 affirmations spoken mechanically. Therefore, speak slowly, feeling each word as though your future depends upon it, because it does. The subconscious listens with childlike attention and remembers everything. To plant new belief, you must repeat with emotion. Speak your definite purpose aloud each morning and night. Do not recite, declare. Feel the warmth of achievement as though it were already present. Gratitude is the seal of faith. When you feel gratitude for what you cannot yet see, you are proving belief in unseen law. Consider the self-confidence formula. It begins not with hope, but with certainty. I know that I have the ability to achieve my definite purpose. Speak it with eyes closed, body still, imagination vivid. Picture the results as completed. See faces congratulating you. Hear your own calm voice saying, "It is done." That vision instructs the subconscious as blueprint instructs builder. Faith, once established, becomes an automatic power. It multiplies the force of every thought. When you truly believe, ideas flow faster, decisions become clear, obstacles lose power. You no longer consult fear, you consult purpose. That is the invisible economy of faith. It saves years wasted in hesitation. The link between belief and opportunity is constant. The believing mind perceives openings invisible to others. Faith sharpens perception until coincidence becomes pattern. To the doubter, life seems random. To the believer, every event is guidance. Infinite intelligence favors those who expect its cooperation. Fear of poverty and criticism destroy this mental fertility. They plant weeds in the garden of imagination. The man who worries about opinion builds a cage for his genius. The one who fears loss tightens his grasp until abundance slips away. Faith cannot breathe in a mind choked with fear. No man can fake belief. The subconscious reads the secret tone behind your words. You cannot whisper doubt to yourself and expect power to obey your commands. Belief is built only by practice. The one who persists in daily repetition, even when feeling nothing, will one day awaken to find conviction permanent and effortless. Imagination is the workshop of destiny. It is where faith gives substance to thought. Through imagination, you preview the life you intend to build, adjusting detail until image feels real. The subconscious then treats that picture as instruction and begins arranging conditions to match. Blair, my own son, was born without ears, yet belief restored hearing. I refused to accept the verdict of limitation. I told him, long before he could understand, that he would hear and speak. That thought, repeated with faith, reached his subconscious. It guided unseen forces that science cannot explain. Today, the result stands as proof of law. Prayer becomes effective only when combined with action. The man who prays as though already answered is obeying this law. He does not plead, he thanks. His behavior afterward confirms his conviction. Faith without action is pretense. Action without faith is drudgery. Combined, they command reality. There are 7 words that reprogram the mind. It is already mine in principle. Speak them until they replace the old vocabulary of someday. When you affirm possession in principle, you release desire from desperation. You no longer chase, you attract. To neutralize old limiting thoughts, replace them instantly with their opposite. When the mind says, I cannot, answer, I can and I will. When fear whispers, what if it fails? Reply, it cannot fail when law is obeyed. Never leave a negative thought unchallenged. The subconscious records silence as consent. Write your purpose clearly. Read it aloud morning and night. Let no day pass without impressing your mind with certainty. Repetition is the chisel that cuts belief into permanence. In time, you will feel the shift from doubt to quiet knowing. That knowing is faith incarnate. Say often, I think, speak, and act as one entrusted with success. Each repetition builds authority within tone and gesture. Soon others will sense it even before you speak. Faith has its own fragrance. It attracts attention without announcement. Each repetition erases a little of the old self. Habitual fear loses strength like metal thinned by friction. Eventually, disbelief cannot return because the neural path of doubt has been replaced by one of conviction. You become incapable of thinking small. The law of accumulation works silently. Each positive thought compounds. The man who disciplines belief gains acceleration. His progress seems to multiply overnight because doubt, the hidden thief, has been dismissed. Faith restores full interest on every action. Through mastery of belief, a man may save 30 years of wandering. He no longer changes course with every disappointment. He no longer seeks approval from circumstance. He moves with inner government, guided by the compass of conviction. Such a man arrives sooner because he no longer stops to question his direction. Imagine two salesmen on the same street. One says each morning, business is slow. The other says, business increases daily. The first finds doors closed, conversations brief, and prospects cold. The second, though facing the same city, finds smiles, referrals, and sales. His tone of certainty alters how people receive him. The city has not changed, only belief has. Infinite intelligence mirrors the mind that commands it. When you believe firmly, the world believes in you. When you doubt, the world hesitates. Life cannot outgive your own assumption. Faith is the only known antidote to fear. It is the light that dissolves darkness instantly. You cannot fight doubt. You replace it with decision. Decision backed by emotion becomes belief, and belief transforms matter. All men desire results, but only believers create them. Doubt wastes energy in speculation. Faith channels energy into expression. A man of faith no longer asks, "Will it work?" He asks, "How shall I express it?" His every question moves forward. To train the subconscious is to take control of destiny. Every thought you allow is a seed, and every seed will bloom. Plant wisely. If you wish for wealth, think abundance. If you wish for peace, think order. If you wish for power, think responsibility. Whatever you habitually think upon will claim you. The subconscious mind never sleeps. Guard its gates as you would a treasury. Before rest, speak only what you desire. As you sleep, it will multiply those thoughts, returning them as opportunity. In that quiet interval between wakefulness and rest, the soil of mind is most fertile. Plant there your noblest designs. Faith must be tended daily. Neglect invites weeds of fear to grow again. Continual study, gratitude, and repetition keep the garden clear. The disciplined believer reviews progress not with pride, but with thanksgiving. Gratitude is faith fulfilled. Faith transforms the ordinary man into a magnet for guidance. People begin to sense leadership without understanding why. Confidence radiates. It organizes chaos. Even those who doubted you start to feel drawn toward your calm. They call it charm, but it is law. To believe is to cooperate with infinite intelligence consciously. You are no longer a beggar at the gate of circumstance. You are a partner in creation. Speak to life as one equal speaks to another, with reverence but also with authority. Understand this. The subconscious is your servant, not your master. Rule it wisely. Feed it with definite ideas, and it will clothe them with material form. Feed it confusion, and it will produce chaos. It always fulfills the last command given with emotion. When you grasp this truth, you cease blaming life. You recognize that every outcome, good or ill, was once a thought, spoken or felt, pressed into mind with persistence. That recognition restores full power to you. Therefore, build belief deliberately. Repeat until repetition becomes revelation. Think faith, speak faith, act faith. In time, faith will become your second nature, and success will be your reflection. Remember the declaration, "My belief commands my world. I speak and it obeys." Hold it until every nerve vibrates with certainty. The day you truly feel its truth, your world will rearrange itself accordingly. The world is a mirror that faithfully reflects the inner attitude of every man. Its eyes, though silent, see through posture, tone, and bearing to the truth of belief within. You cannot conceal your self-estimate. You announce it in every gesture. Those who possess assurance need not explain it. Others feel it. Those who doubt themselves cannot hide it. Others detect it. Self-image is silent communication. It speaks before words do. The man who carries calm confidence steps into any room and alters its atmosphere. The hesitant, even when skilled, betray weakness through the trembling of spirit. Men follow authority they can sense, not noise they can hear. Every exchange between men is an exchange of conviction. Those who believe in themselves compel cooperation from others. Those who seek approval invite control. When you know your worth, you need not prove it. When you are unsure, every act becomes a plea for acceptance. The world simply echoes your tone. The posture of certainty creates instant authority. Straight back, firm voice, eyes steady, these are the unspoken declarations of leadership. They arise naturally from inward belief. A man cannot counterfeit them for long. Fatigue exposes pretense. Only conviction can sustain composure under pressure. Others invest in certainty, not need. They give opportunity to those who appear capable of using it. The hungry man who begs for help repels it. The assured man who offers service attracts support. The difference lies not in merit, but in vibration. One broadcasts efficiency, the other radiates capacity. Definite purpose magnetizes cooperation. When you move with clarity, people feel safe aligning with you. They sense direction. Most men wander without aim. So when they meet a man who knows exactly what he wants and speaks of it as done, they are drawn as metal to magnet. Leadership is nothing but organized belief. Consistency is the currency of trust. The world may forgive mistakes, but it never forgives unpredictability. A man who does as he promises, regardless of mood, builds reputation faster than brilliance ever could. Reliability is genius in motion. People instinctively test your faith by opposing it. They challenge your certainty to see if it will hold. Do not resent this. Welcome it. Each test proves your strength to yourself and teaches others the boundaries of your conviction. Resistance merely chisels belief into visible form. In moments of pressure, emotional control reveals mastery. The one who stays composed while others lose temper becomes natural leader. Panic exposes weakness. Calm invites confidence. Men of destiny move slowly when others rush, speak gently when others shout. Power expressed quietly multiplies. Andrew Carnegie was once asked how he remained tranquil during financial storms. He answered, "I trust my system." That system was not merely business, it was faith in order, in law, in his own definiteness. His composure held his empire together when markets trembled. Confidence, not capital, was his true wealth. Assurance commands loyalty. Workers followed Carnegie not from fear, but respect. They knew his decisions were steady. Uncertainty in leadership breeds rebellion. Steadiness breeds devotion. The same principle governs every human relationship, from commerce to friendship. People anchor to those who stand firm. As you begin to live with inner conviction, others start mirroring your standard. They speak to you differently, treat your time with more respect, seek your approval instead of offering theirs. The world, once indifferent, now orbits around your sense of order. You have not changed it. It has changed response to you. The visible signs of inner transformation are unmistakable. Speech slows, words carry weight, movements economize, waste vanishes. You answer questions with calm precision. You cease boasting because truth requires no decoration. Arrogance fades, authority deepens. The world, sensing maturity, adjusts accordingly. Understand this difference. Arrogance shouts to hide insecurity. Quiet mastery whispers because it has nothing to prove. True success makes a man gentle, for he no longer competes, he creates. When your identity is settled, peace replaces pride. Those who respect time become masters of opportunity. Punctuality is spiritual discipline made visible. The man who arrives prepared commands confidence without speaking. Every minute kept promises reliability. Every delay confesses disorder. Time is the first property of success. Guard it as sacred. Prosperity responds to order. Money flows where it feels protected. Chaos repels it. The man who maintains structure in business, home, and thought will always find resources gravitating toward him. The law of attraction is not magic. It is mathematics of discipline. There exists an invisible network connecting all men of conviction. Though strangers, they recognize one another through demeanor. It is an unspoken fraternity of purpose. Within moments of meeting, they sense compatibility and often assist each other without request. Shared definiteness is a universal language. The world resists the hesitant, but assists the certain. Indecision repels help because it confuses those who would offer it. Certainty attracts it because it simplifies cooperation. Infinite intelligence does not multiply energy around ambiguity. It amplifies clarity. As your belief stabilizes, people begin to see you differently. The same face that once went unnoticed now commands attention. You are invited into rooms once closed, offered tasks once withheld. This is not luck, but recognition of inner authority. The crowd obeys conviction, even when it does not understand it. Conduct yourself as one entrusted with power. Speak less, listen more, act decisively. The quietness of surety impresses more than loud declarations. Men of power never explain themselves. They reveal their principles through consistency. Remember, others cannot believe in you until you do. Faith must originate within. When you expect respect, you radiate it. When you demand fairness by example, it is granted. When you trust your own judgment, others defer to it. The law of reflection is absolute. Your world behaves like your thought. Let us recall a simple example. A merchant once begged bankers for loans. His tone was desperate, his words uncertain. They declined. A year later, after applying the law of assumption, he approached with new posture, clear purpose, precise plan, calm voice. The same men who had refused him now competed to invest. Nothing material had changed. His manner had. Charles Schwab rose from clerk to captain of industry through this law. His optimism, organization, and serenity made every superior trust him. Carnegie said of him, "I never knew a man who inspired confidence as he did." Schwab's wealth was the echo of his character. When you embody stability, others lean upon you for their own balance. Your influence becomes effortless. The hesitant obey your confidence because it provides security. Leadership is simply faith distributed through example. Every environment rearranges itself around definiteness. Uncertainty breeds disorder. A family led by an indecisive father drifts. A team guided by a hesitant captain falters. But when one person stands resolved, all others find direction. Faith is contagious. As belief matures, even adversaries adjust their behavior. Enemies become respectful. Critics grow silent. They may not agree, but they recognize force of character. Life itself begins clearing your path, not by miracle, but by law of vibration. Remember this: the more certain you are, the fewer explanations you require. Conviction simplifies, doubt complicates. The successful man's speech is brief because truth is compact. His calm saves time others waste in persuasion. The man of assumption no longer hunts opportunity. It hunts him. Invitations arrive unasked. Allies emerge without explanation. Problems dissolve because they no longer meet resistance. They meet order. Think of Rockefeller's composure amid chaos. While markets panicked, he walked to his office as though attending worship. His serenity was the result of inner faith. That calm convinced others he was in control. Their trust multiplied his influence. The world rewards steadiness because steadiness protects it. You need not strive to appear powerful. Merely eliminate contradiction. Align thought, speech, and action. When every expression matches conviction, the world will perceive integrity and grant authority naturally. Let this affirmation guide you. I conduct myself as one entrusted with power. Repeat it until it alters your gait, your tone, your gaze. When you truly feel entrusted, behavior changes automatically. Soon you will find that negotiation becomes simpler, persuasion shorter, relationships steadier. Others yield without resistance because they sense certainty backed by quiet goodwill. That is how assumption turns into influence. Through this alignment, you save decades otherwise wasted in proving and persuading. The hesitant spend years seeking validation. The certain receive it unasked. Faith shortens the road by removing detours of insecurity. Walk as though you belong where you stand. Speak as though authority has already been granted. Act as though failure is impossible. The world will conform. Say it now and mean it. The world now sees in me what I have already decided to be. Hold that tone until life echoes it back through circumstance. Power without character is danger disguised as fortune. True success demands moral control, for wealth and position only amplify the nature of the man who holds them. The untrained spirit collapses under abundance. The discipline turns prosperity into service. The world often praises ability, but it only trusts integrity. Without it, All progress turns to dust. There is a difference between power and pretense. Pretense seeks attention. Power seeks order. The man who parades his success is still enslaved by vanity. The one who quietly governs himself has already conquered his greatest enemy. A man who cannot rule his tongue, his emotions, and his appetites is not yet free. He is still a servant of impulse. Success without virtue collapses because it lacks foundation. Money earned without fairness, influence gained without honesty, or fame achieved without merit will, by law, decay. Life permits no lasting gain at the expense of moral order. The structure built on deceit trembles with every wind, while that built on honor endures storms with calm assurance. Integrity is the backbone of confidence. When your actions align with conscience, your mind stands at ease. You no longer divide yourself in secret. A clean conscience is silent armor. It allows calm even amid accusation, for truth requires no defense. This inner peace radiates outward, forming the calm authority by which all great leaders govern. The successful man is not driven by greed, but guided by service. He knows the law of giving precedes the law of receiving. Every fortune that endures was built upon usefulness. The great industrialists who shaped nations did so by rendering valuable service in exchange for reward. Service was their seed, wealth was its fruit. There exists a formula for lasting prosperity, the QQS formula: quality, quantity, and spirit of service. Deliver more than expected, do it better than required, and do it with genuine goodwill. Those three letters contain more power than any secret of speculation. They turn ordinary labor into magnet for opportunity. To go the extra mile is to outrun competition before the race begins. Most men stop at obligation. The one who exceeds duty gains invisible advantage. His name becomes synonymous with trust. Employers promote him, partners prefer him, and customers remember him. The extra mile is the shortest road to mastery. The strong man remains calm under provocation. Anger is the weapon of the weak, used to disguise insecurity. Self-command is the mark of sovereignty. When insulted, the wise do not defend, they observe. When challenged, they respond with poise. Power restrained is twice as powerful, for it demonstrates discipline. A successful man never explains himself to those who misunderstand him. Explanation is a confession that you seek approval. Demonstration through consistent conduct persuades more deeply. Results speak a universal language. Words invite argument. Walk straight and let performance defend reputation. Temperance guards reputation. The habit of moderation in all things, speech, appetite, and judgment, preserves strength for decisive action. Excess dulls the edge of genius. The man who indulges without control soon loses command of himself, and no man can lead others who cannot lead himself. Fairness in negotiation builds empires of trust. The wise man seeks mutual gain, knowing that injustice poisons success from within. Each unfair victory is a seed of future loss. Lincoln, even amid war, refused to retaliate with cruelty. His strength was in grace. He led by moral authority, not by vengeance. That is the leadership of character. Emotional discipline is the proof of maturity. Passion ungoverned burns opportunity. The disciplined direct emotion toward purpose as a river is harnessed for energy. Enthusiasm under control becomes conviction. Enthusiasm unrestrained becomes chaos. Success, therefore, is not the absence of feeling, but the mastery of it. Under-promise and over-perform. The man who does slightly more than expected gains lifelong allies. He is remembered when others are forgotten. Promise too much and deliver little, and your word becomes worthless currency. Each commitment fulfilled strengthens your reputation. Each broken one weakens your authority. Gratitude is the antidote to arrogance. A thankful man cannot become corrupt. Gratitude reminds him that all power is lent, not owned, that infinite intelligence is the source and he the steward. The ungrateful lose sight of this and perish in pride. To begin and end each day in gratitude is to polish the mirror through which wisdom reflects. Quiet generosity completes the circle of success. Give without announcement, help without witness, lift others without demand for recognition. Power that blesses multiplies. Many wealthy men die poor in spirit because they gave with motive. But those who give in secret become rich in influence that cannot be stolen. Repeat this affirmation. I am trusted because I am consistent. Consistency is the soul of credibility. When others can predict your honesty, they rest in your presence. When they can rely on your promise, they invest in your vision. Consistency transforms acquaintances into allies and opportunities into partnerships. Faith without character breeds collapse. Confidence without morality is arrogance in disguise. History records many who rose swiftly only to crumble under their own corruption, but every lasting success stands upon moral bedrock. A man's principles are the hidden structure supporting every visible achievement. Consider the businessman tempted with dishonest profit. The figures before him promised instant wealth, but his conscience whispered caution. He refused. Years later, when others fell under exposure, his integrity crowned him with leadership. Trust gathered around his name like armor. One right decision secured decades of respect. Contrast him with another who yielded to greed. He gained rapidly, but slept uneasily. The very wealth he stole turned to chains. Exposure followed, reputation vanished, and the years saved through deceit were spent in disgrace. The law of cause and effect spares none. It rewards in kind. Mastery of self precedes mastery of circumstance. The man who cannot rule appetite will fall to temptation when opportunity tests him. The man who cannot govern tongue will destroy peace with words meant to defend pride. The one who cannot restrain ego will lose allies to vanity. Dominion begins within. To live as success is to live as custodian of power. Every decision echoes through others' lives. Therefore, discipline and fairness must accompany every act. Power without conscience breeds tyranny. Conscience without power breeds helplessness. True success unites both, strength guided by justice. Character turns authority into peace. The man who acts with honor walks unafraid. His composure persuades where force cannot. His leadership endures because it rests on trust, not fear. Men may admire talent, but they only follow virtue. Success that endures must be calm. Frenzied energy burns out. Calmness directs power efficiently. When you govern emotion, you conserve vitality. Every outburst wastes force. The still man moves mountains while the restless chases shadows. This stage completes transformation. It is the summit of growth where strength no longer shouts, it reassures. You are no longer striving to impress. You are devoted to expressing what you have become. The result is influence beyond measure. Integrity is magnetic. It draws opportunity that cannot be solicited. Investors seek honest partners. Followers seek upright leaders. Even adversaries prefer fair opponents. The pure in motive attract the strong in spirit. The world, though tempted by glamour, always returns to truth. A man of calm authority becomes a pillar in his environment. Others measure their behavior by his standard. His presence settles disputes. His voice restores order. His decisions carry the weight of fairness. Without demand, he commands. This composure is not indifference, but understanding. He knows that life is governed by law and trusts it fully. He does not need to hurry or manipulate. His assurance allows others to rest. That is why great leaders bring peace. They transmit faith through serenity. To maintain character, review each day as a ledger of conduct. Ask, did I speak truthfully? Did I render full service? Did I honor my word? This private audit builds public reputation. The man who disciplines himself in secret cannot be corrupted in public. Through such moral architecture, power gains permanence. Fortune founded on honesty multiplies through trust. Prosperity earned through service becomes legacy. The man of character need not fear time. It deepens his influence instead of diminishing it. Say within yourself, my strength is quiet integrity. My success is service. Let that truth replace every impulse of vanity. Remember that greatness is never seized. It is bestowed upon those who prove themselves worthy of stewardship. When power and virtue walk together, nations flourish, businesses endure, families prosper, and peace becomes the natural atmosphere of achievement. This is the reward of living not for appearance, but for principle. When a man at last learns that success is not a goal, but a state of consciousness, he crosses from struggle into mastery. He ceases to chase fortune and begins to express law. His mind, speech, and actions move in harmony, and life responds with exact obedience. This is the final stage, the calm possession of self, the quiet cooperation with infinite intelligence. Success, rightly understood, is harmony between thought, purpose, and deed. When the mind conceives clearly, when purpose directs steadily, and when action follows faithfully, the law of cause and effect fulfills itself. The man no longer asks for results. They flow to him naturally. He has become the channel through which success expresses itself. To live in this alignment is to live in constant dialogue with infinite intelligence. One need not kneel to pray. Every act becomes prayer in motion. Each duty done well is a hymn of gratitude. Each word spoken with faith is communion. The divine is not distant. It moves through orderly thought. The daily renewal of belief through gratitude keeps the mind open to inspiration. Gratitude is the magnet that draws continued blessing. It clears the heart of fear, envy, and complaint. leaving room only for assurance. When you thank life for what has not yet appeared, you quicken its coming. Gratitude declares faith louder than words ever could. To maintain this state, the mind must remain clean of doubt and envy. Doubt divides power. Envy wastes it. The man who envies confesses inferiority. The man who doubts declares disconnection from law. Faith unites. Envy isolates. Guard your heart as carefully as your treasure, for emotion is the soil of creation. Peace is the final fruit of mastery. It is not indifference, but perfect trust. The one who truly understands law no longer rushes, fears, or forces outcomes. He moves deliberately, knowing that infinite intelligence never errs. Anxiety belongs to those who doubt order. Calm belongs to those who live by it. In this peace arises the state of flow, effort without tension, motion without friction. Every task becomes joyful, for the worker no longer fights himself. His inner and outer worlds cooperate. Obstacles still appear, but they no longer wound. He sees in them only instruction, not opposition. Every act, when performed with faith, becomes sacred. Sweeping a floor, writing a letter, conducting a meeting, all are equal when done in alignment with purpose. Success is no longer confined to enterprise. It permeates existence. The ordinary becomes magnificent when guided by definite intention. The man who walks in this awareness feels invisible companionship. He is never alone, for infinite intelligence moves beside him as silent partner. Ideas arrive precisely when needed. Allies appear at perfect moments, and even setbacks reveal hidden order. This is not superstition. It is cooperation with the rhythm of the universe. The law of increasing return now governs him fully. Whatever he gives, thought, service, or goodwill, returns multiplied. Since his motives are pure, increase does not corrupt. He gives cheerfully, receives gratefully, and thus keeps the current of abundance flowing. As he matures, others begin to feel secure in his presence. They sense his steadiness and draw courage from it. He becomes a point of calm in a restless world, a living example of controlled faith. Men seek his counsel not because he commands them, but because his peace convinces them. Edison lived in this state. His curiosity was endless, his patience divine. He worked as though assisted by unseen friends. Failures did not dishearten him because he knew every law obeys purpose. His calm was the proof of alignment. His success was merely the physical echo of inner order. To live as success is to maintain the attitude of calm expectancy toward all goals. Expectancy is not wish. It is certainty awaiting timing. The man of faith plants, waters, and rests, knowing harvest cannot fail. The world calls it confidence. The wise call it understanding of law. No external result can add or subtract from inner wealth. The man who lives a success already possesses peace, self-respect, and clarity. Money, fame, or position are merely reflections of those states. Remove them, and his composure remains. He is rich because his wealth is consciousness, not coin. Affirm these truths daily. I think clearly, act decisively, and rest in faith. I no longer seek success, it seeks me. Every day confirms who I have become. Each repetition renews alignment, reminding the subconscious that success is identity, not ambition. Setbacks no longer threaten such a man. He greets them with the same calm as triumph, for he knows both are servants of growth. Faith becomes steady flame rather than flickering candle. No storm can extinguish conviction built through discipline. Guiding others requires no preaching. Leadership by example is the silent sermon that changes men. The world is not moved by speeches, but by presence. When your conduct radiates certainty, those around you adjust to your frequency. You lift them without command. The gratitude practice keeps prosperity flowing. Begin and end each day in thanks, not as duty, but as joy. Thank every challenge for the wisdom it brings, every delay for the patience it builds, every success for the service it allows. Gratitude transforms repetition into renewal. Understand that success is not arrival, it is alignment. The moment you align thought, belief, and purpose, you have succeeded, regardless of visible results. The harvest must follow by law, but the victory is already won when the mind attains harmony. The man once anxious about the future now moves with serenity. His home is orderly, his mind tranquil, his speech measured. His wealth, though abundant, no longer excites him. It simply serves him. People sense quiet mastery in his presence. They cannot name it, but they trust it. He was not made different by chance, but by decision. Years earlier, he ceased trying and began being. He lived each day as though his vision were already reality, and so it became so. Nothing outside changed first, only the state within. Life now mirrors his inner perfection. Relationships flourish because he gives freely. Health improves because the mind no longer battles itself. Opportunity expands because his certainty eliminates resistance. What once required strain now unfolds by rhythm. Every oak was once an acorn that acted as though it were already a tree. It grew silently, unseen, pushing roots deep before daring to rise. When storms came, it did not fear. It had already become what it believed itself to be. So it is with man. If you would save 10, 20, even 30 years of wandering, stop striving to become and start living as though the aim were already achieved. Think the thought now. Speak the word now. Move as success now. The law of correspondence will take care of form. You need not announce transformation. Life will do that for you. Results will speak. But the true victory will be internal. The peace that no wealth can buy. The certainty that no failure can disturb. In this awareness, life becomes simple. Choices become clear. Time slows, for you no longer hurry toward tomorrow. You live fully in the perfection of today. The mind, once torn between fear and desire, rests in purpose. Every man is destined for this realization, that success is not an outer pursuit, but an inner order. Once he achieves harmony, he becomes instrument of creation itself. Infinite intelligence thinks through him, speaks through him, acts through him. The line between man and divine purpose disappears. There remains only calm inevitability. His every movement feels guided, his every step supported. He no longer wonders whether things will work out. He knows they already have. In this certainty lies invincibility. Repeat one final truth until it becomes breath. I no longer seek to become. I live as success. Therefore, I attract all that belongs to success. Say it slowly, as confession of fact. Feel it settle into your being until no trace of doubt remains. You are not trying to achieve. You are revealing what was always within. Infinite intelligence created you complete. Every lesson, every hardship, every delay was preparation for recognition of this truth. Now stand in quiet gratitude. The race is over. You have arrived not at a destination, but at understanding. Live each hour as evidence of it. Work faithfully, speak with certainty, give generously, rest peacefully. Success will follow you because you are its living embodiment. You no longer chase, it follows. You no longer plead, you command. You no longer drift, you decide. The world adjusts because the law cannot deny conviction. You have become success itself, calm, orderly, purposeful, generous, unshakable. The outer world now bends to the rhythm of your inner faith. And from this day forward, every sunrise will confirm what you already know. You were never becoming, you always were.